Welcome to the Integrative Shift by SASIM. This podcast is going to tell the stories of our members and their journeys across from allopathic medicine to integrative medicine. Subscribe to follow the growing conversation around whole person medicine and our journey to bring integrative approaches into the heart of healthcare. Welcome to Dr. Nick Simpson.
Hi, Alma. It's so good to be here.
Well, I'm glad to kick off with you this morning. So let's get going. And I'm curious, you are also one of our younger members and newest members, so a really great place to start. So would you like to share with us a little bit about what happened on the other side and a little bit of your story?
So just to give a bit of background, so I was in state for a long time and in internal medicine departments, and moved across to private and was also still working internal medicine with sort of cardiology as well. And then sort of decided that that's not really sort of what I wanted to do anymore, found integrative medicine, and then left to start my own practice. So I now have my own practice in Cape Town, Flourish Medical, and then I'm also working with Dr. Simone Silva at her hormonal health and wellness practice in Granger Bay. And how I got here is I've always sort of had a Eastern philosophical bent. So in sort of parallel with doing my formal medical training, I sort of follow an Eastern religion and am just sort of very passionate about Eastern philosophy, Vedic thought, especially around sort of health and healing and all of that.
So also a little bit more holistic view on things.
Exactly. So it's always kind of been there, but I think, with time and you sort of see that you're just addressing one aspect of a person over and over again, and then in a somewhat limited way. So I don't poo-poo normal medicine. I love it. I think it's done incredible things, and I will continue to learn about it and practice it as I go on. But I've very much enjoyed adding on the integrative stuff to it, and I found that the patients really love it as well. The amount of times I've had patients like visibly relaxed and like relieved after a consult because I've asked them about their psychological health, I've asked them about their spiritual health, their social health, the ecological health, like literally every patient just feels so unburdened afterwards. And also myself, like I used to find at the end of the day when I was working in the wards or in the clinic that I would be exhausted at the end of the day. But now seeing patients from an integrative perspective, I feel energized at the end of my day. And I literally I've lost count of how many times I say to myself afterwards, like, I love this, like this is what I want to be doing.
This is real medicine.
Exactly, yeah. And this is this is the form of medicine I've always wanted to practice, and just sort of have subconsciously, but more and more consciously, sort of felt that disconnect. And then having found the integrative approach, just sort of blossomed with it.
So this feels more in alignment with who you are as a person and as a soul.
That is a great way of putting it, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So also, I think maybe one of the differences that you feel so acutely is the time difference. You take a lot more time. We don't have 10 minutes in and 10 minutes out, which I think is also very exhausting to doctors, isn't it? If you're in a tiny time, have to quickly do something.
Definitely, and I think the patients get shortchanged for it, and it breaks down the rapport and relationship that you have with your patients. So yeah. I find having longer times allows you to get more from your patients, but it also allows you to go through things with them more slowly in a way that they can better understand and grasp. They have time to ask you questions. I love to draw stuff for my patients to explain, okay, like this is what's happening, this is what we're doing, this is how it's going to help. So definitely 10, 15-minute consults, you can't do much good with them, unfortunately. I don't think. I think the longer consults are the way to go.
And we often say in integrative medicine, we form a partnership with our patients. It's not the doctor knows it all and you just listen and here's your script. It's
exactly.
You have to work on it together and find a nice match with the two working together as a partnership. And then also I'm so aware that one of the top needs, if not the top need, I often go around saying of human beings is to be heard.
Exactly.
And I think a big part of illness is often also a lack of feeling validated and heard. And already just unbundling with my doctor who's actually there listening and showing interest already can make a person feel better, not so.
100%. And like I said, I've just seen that with every patient I see from an integrative point of view, where you take that longer time, you're doing a more in-depth medical history, but also a more in-depth holistic personal history. Like people really do feel heard and understood, and it really makes a massive difference to how they feel.
That's so wonderful. So there wasn't a specific thing that happened in allopathic medicine that made you think, I need to go and find a bigger view?
No, I think it was, I don't think it was one big thing. I think it was lots of little things that just sort of added up. And then I think it was just my natural bent towards the East that I think sort of pushed me, because, you know, you sort of learn about how holistically they see patients and the kinds of things that they take into account. And you think that, you know, this is, they're talking about Ayurveda now, but, you know, this is a health system that's been around for millennia.
5,000 years, actually.
Yeah, it's a very long time. And if you look at the data in terms of mortality outcomes between Ayurvedic hospitals and normal hospitals, they're equivalent. So it stood the test of time. So there's got to be something true to it, definitely.
So just to make the distinction here that integrative medicine is not necessarily complementary medicine, that kind of falls under allied medicine, but we just have a broader toolbox and we can integrate anything that the doctor is trained in.
Exactly. So like I said, my foundation is allopathic medicine, and I love it. I think it's done a lot of good. And like I said, it's how I practice. It's the base from which I practice.
Yeah.
But like you said, even if you're not sort of using them fully, I think it's well worth the exploration.
How would you personally define integrative medicine in your own words?
Integrative medicine for me is a health system that acknowledges that we are not just bodies and not just body and minds either. So integrative medicine is looking at the whole person. So for me, that's physical, mental, spiritual, social, ecological, and it's giving itself the broadest toolbox to be able to address that complexity of the person in front of you. So it's using the best of allopathic medicine, it's using the best of the complementary approaches that the particular doctor is familiar with, and harnessing them to give the patient the best care that they can get.
Yes, and I would like to add also that, especially in our SASIM society, it's a matter of constantly learning as well, lifelong learning, because more new information comes out all the time, and we know in good science we need to prove ourselves wrong from time to time and learn more. And I think that just makes medicine interesting and exciting.
Totally. I think that's a very important aspect of being a practitioner, is having that sort of commitment to the lifelong learning. You know, it's also, the integrative approach has proven itself in sort of quite a number of areas. So the microbiome was picked up quite quickly by the integrative practitioners, and that's turned out to be, you know, a massive role player in health and disease.
Very important.
They've gone into a lot more depth in terms of hormonal treatments and approaches, and that's also been found now to have been validated by allopathic medicine and, you know, to be found beneficial. So it's not that we're sort of on the edges with funny things. I mean, you know, a lot of the things are, you know, have subsequently been validated by allopathic medicine.
Absolutely. And I think integrative medicine is becoming mainstream medicine, really. We are very much moving into that space, especially since COVID as well. And also with the curiosity of our informed and educated patients who are also online and learning and finding out and attending webinars. And so we all need to work together for health.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's something that integrative practitioners, I think, tend to welcome maybe more than allopathic practitioners. I love when patients come to me with their symptoms or conditions and they've done a bunch of research and we get to chat about it, because ultimately each person is responsible for their own health. So part of our job is to encourage patients to do that and to take that responsibility by reading around their conditions, reading around their symptoms, and then we assist in the ways that we can. But it's very important to have that interaction between, you know, the patient's understanding and our understanding, and not sort of trying to suppress that in our patients, but rather welcoming it and encouraging it.
I think that's so wonderful, because that way the doctor shows respect as well, which is what we want when we see a doctor, as opposed to sometimes people roll their eyes when you say, yeah, but what about this? Where did you read that? Totally. And also curiosity is a sign of a healthy inner child, me coming from life coaching side. So we want to encourage that on both sides. It's a good thing. It should not be a threat.
Absolutely not. It's a very healthy, very important thing. I agree.
And our members also have often said that they learn from their patients often. So what's really great is the humility, that it's not the doctor on a massive pedestal and needs to know everything, that it's a co-learning situation as well. So what would you say to young doctors starting out or students who would like to know more about this? What would you say to encourage them?
I would tell them to definitely spend the time exploring. It is well worth the additional hours spent reading around it and finding places to learn from, doing courses, because I found personally it's been such a rich experience for myself, and ultimately practice changing. And I think even if it's a path that you ultimately end up not taking, I think you're much better off for having explored what else is available outside of your silo.
Absolutely. So is there one particular tool or practice that you can't imagine working without anymore?
Yeah, it's the history taking for me. Like the expanded history taking has just been the most wonderful, enjoyable thing for me. And I cannot understand how we manage patients doing just like a medical, surgical, and like family and social history. And just that's been my favorite new thing.
So you obviously really, really interested in people, and you show that interest, and that seems to benefit you as well at the same time.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, it's such a change for me to, at the end of the day, to be energized by having seen patients all day, as opposed to being like totally drained and out of it. And I think it's because there is you're working with the actual person in front of you. You're not just, it's not like a production line and you're just like slapping band-aids on everything. You're asking the deeper questions. So you're getting to the underlying causes of everything. And you're giving yourself all the puzzle pieces required to put that patient's picture together and then to offer them the best therapy. So yeah, that's the best.
That's so lovely. So here's another benefit of integrative medicine, which means in that it benefits both ways. It even benefits a doctor too. I think as you see people properly and holistically, you probably end up also being more seen, and so there's a deeper connection.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even sort of just separate from the benefits of of being seen and having this sort of authentic exchange of energy, it's when you give yourself all the pieces as a clinician, you manage your patients better because you're not missing things in the psychological history that are now driving the physical symptoms. You're not missing things in the spiritual life that are contributing to psychological issues and subsequently the physical illness. So it's just so important.
So we call that a win.
Yeah, yes, we do.
So are there any benefits, particular benefits that you would like to mention in terms of having joined SASIM? How's that been for you?
Yeah, so I've loved it. I think there is a great optionality to being a part of the SASIM group. So it's a very cosmopolitan bunch on the group with a lot of sort of varying perspectives and varying interests and varying levels of expertise in certain things. And it's great to have a group of like-minded people to sort of ask clinical questions to and get responses. It's nice to just see what people are thinking about in terms of what they share, like exciting papers, new research, new treatment approaches, things that have worked for them. And then the regular lectures and stuff that you guys organize for us, I found just to be like wonderful. So yeah, I'm really enjoying my time on the group.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you. So yeah, I think for me, what's so beautiful about the community is the open-hearted sharing and the knowledge sharing. So whatever anybody finds out, they go and pop in on the groups, and the others get to share that as well. And I think that's just such a beautiful ethic in our society.
Yeah, I'd agree with that 100%. Like people are so helpful. They're so ready to share, knowledge that must have taken them a lot of sort of time and effort to accumulate.
Yes.
And they're just so willing to share it, and it's really, really helpful.
So that's also then we can call it hopeful medicine.
Yes.
Yeah. And isn't hope just something that we need so much in our world at the moment?
Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's lovely. Is there anything that you would finally like to still say that I haven't asked you?
I don't think anything new, but just to sort of reinforce for people how helpful it is to sort of see people in a broad perspective, and for clinicians to practice in a broad perspective, and to read and explore outside of your like allopathic silo, I think is tremendously important.
It's very important for the world to understand that allopathic medicine is never thrown out at all. It's all incorporated. That's why we call it integrative medicine.
Yes, 100%.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Nick.
You're welcome, Alma. Thank you for having me.
Have a lovely Friday further.
Yeah, you're welcome. You too.
Thank you. Right. Bye.
Bye.